Hi guys, I hope you're good since last video. Monitoring your system can be a bit complicated. Here we are going to see an easy way to monitor your computer usage and applications. I'm taking you to the exploration of Baszel. You will dive into the intuitive usage of it to get it running and figure out along the way how it works. Okay, let's get started. Okay. So I've been in the documentation. I got a YAML file. So I'm creating here a folder, Baszel, and Docker Compose file that I'm going to be putting here, having the image, the name of the container Baszel. And here we have the extra host that we might change. But if using Docker, but I'm not using Docker, I'm using node.ctl. So I will have to change it. Do not use localhost. And here we have the port, the volumes. And after here we have the second service, which is the agent. So there is the core service, Baszel, and there is the Baszel agent service. With same the volumes, the image, and the environment, the port, and the key. The key we will get it later on. So this is a modified version of it, just to adapt it to my system. So we still get Baszel service and Baszel agent. The ports are mapped this way, the volumes this way. I have created a network, monitoring network, that's how I called it. We put it in both the Baszel core side and the Baszel agent service also. The image is not changing for the agent, and for the core service, the port is mapped, explicitly exposed. You see, well here we're just using the volumes for Docker like that, and we're using the host Docker internal. Here we're not going to be using the extra host because I'm using node.ctl, so containerd. So that's why here I'm going to be mapping the volumes to containerd. So the network, we still have the network. Okay, this is set. And after we have here the containerd, the sock file, which is mapping with the internal Docker sock file. After etc hosts, we're going to add 19 to it, localhost, and host containers.internal. If you were using Docker, you would put host.docker internals. And here I'm using the command with node.ctl, which is having a node-kit running as a service in my computer, and it's going to be able to. I'm going to be able to use all the Docker commands, but using containerd and not Docker. A lot of systems are moving away from Docker, so I suggest you to start using containerd time to time, just to get used to it. We're going to build the stack. We got it running now. 2 components, the REST API and the dashboard. We're going to go into the dashboard, which is served on port 8090. Please like and subscribe during the break, and we're going to go to the interface and see how it goes. I'm going to create an account straight away. There is also an option to log in using GitHub. But here we're just going to create an account. We run it locally, privately. Creditizens at Metaverse. I just put a password, and after we're going to be entering into this dashboard. Okay, this first time I see the dashboard. You can change it to dark maybe. Different languages. So we're going to put in Japanese for the tutorial. Now we're going to put it back in English. There are several options. In the settings, the general settings, here you can change the languages, the chat options, notifications, YAML configurations, the webhook, push notifications. For example, if you had a Discord webhook, I like to use Discord webhooks, easy to set up. My Discord webhook, for example, after you just enter the URL, you can test it from here, and the YAML file. We were going to be working more with YAML files, but this is more to manage the configurations of the system. On each restart system, the database will be updated to match the system defined in this file, so you can have a configuration set. We're not going to go into all the advanced topics. We just go on the surface and see how we can get it running. And we're going to be tackling those first errors that we might get. After here also you can log in. This is the user management side of it. It says Pocket Base, super user login. Just going to log in with the same credentials. After here we have another interface for the users. I'm going quick on that for the moment. I'm going to come back to it at the end of the video. You have some code snippets because you can also work with it. It's JavaScript and Dart only. You can copy and paste it and put it in ChatGPT to get the Python version. You can use a proxy like Agentic, rate limiting. Also here you can see rate limiting on the APIs, API calls, SMTP, S3 storage, and you can have also some cron jobs running to make backups, for example. So let's go back into our folder. I've tried it in different ways, and I'm gonna be showing you the sort process, what happened to me, what errors I've encountered, and we're gonna be trying to make it run. As you see, the video is not long, so be patient and follow the steps. There is a key here, which is very important. So that's where you put the key that you get from the web UI interface. It says in the documentation, and we're going to keep it for us here, because you might get some errors if you omit to put those quotes around the key. So make sure that the quotes are around the key, okay, that you got from the Baszel's web UI interface. Okay. So we got our YAML ready. We put the key in it. So it's a two-way process. You're going to be running this YAML file first to get it running, to set up your password, username, to get the keys. And after you're going to come back to the YAML file and you're going to be adding those keys in. So now it's running. The agent is also ready as before. I'm just going to go into this and see what happens in the documentation. Let's refresh the page and I show you what errors I got. So in the instructions it just says that after having added the keys I can add the system. So I got the keys by pressing add system. That's how I got it. After you just put the name here, you need to grab your host IP. So here I'm going to call it Django AI. My host IP, let me just open a new terminal. Here is the host IP. Let's copy it. And we paste it here. The port is already exposed through the YAML file, and after I just add system. So the key is the same. That's why it could connect without any issues. If it changes to red, that means that you have an issue. And there is also some indication in the documentation about that. So that's what we got here. So the disk here is almost full. It depends on how much you have allocated to your instance. I'm going to give it a time to have some records. Records can be hourly records, monthly records, weekly, 24-hour, daily, and 12-hour. Okay, so I'm gonna ping because this is the IP address of the host, which is a Windows system. I just check if it works, so we can connect to it. I'm gonna try to install the agent in the Windows system. I have a WSL running there, so we're gonna follow the same process here. There's the binary and the Docker. We're using the Docker Compose. Windows hosts, that's how I'm going to call it. Let's add the IP address here. So here I press add system. It's going to be red. It's not going to work because I haven't created any file. So you just close it. That's why you need to grab that key first and do the whole setup, so it can have this SSH connection to the core Baszel system. That's how the agent is going to be able to send the metrics to it. So here I leave it open. I will need this public key later on. Here we got the Docker Compose. Okay, so that's the one that I will copy and paste in the other side. So I will need to open my WSL connection, which is here opening at the moment. So this is a PowerShell terminal. I just tapped WSL and I got my WSL starting. After that, I'm just going to enter my password and I'll be ready for that. So here we are ready. I'm on the root directory. I grab the IP, which is down there. And I'm going to also try to ping this IP to make sure that I have the ability to connect with this instance. Okay, so we got it running. It's fine. Maybe I can stop this. And now I just check. Here in this side, I'm not going to be reinstalling node.ctl and everything, just to make the video not too long. Just check if Docker is running. I start Docker. Docker is running. Here I'm going to be using Docker, and I'm going to be using the same YAML file. What works with node.ctl works with Docker. Same here, I create a Baszel agent folder, and I'm going to create a Docker Compose file in it. We're going to be, I need to copy it again because I've copied the key, so I've lost this information. Paste it here. You see, same YAML file, but we don't need the core Baszel anymore. We just need here the service, which is corresponding to the agent, which is Baszel agent. Just this service need to be installed in all the different servers, and it's going to be able to use this key to make the SSH connection to the core server. Okay, so here we got the key. Let's copy this key. So here I did a little mistake. I've pasted again the whole YAML file. I'm just going to fix it quickly. And just get rid of all this. Okay, so we're good. We just replace this key. And after there is a line missing down there, I'm going to fix it after. Here I got the key. You see the key is the same. It's using the same key, but I just show you the process, everything, so you know how to do it. Okay, now we're good. And from here, we just ran the same command, the compose up command, to get this agent running on the WSL side, which is going to be collecting the metrics from this instance and sending those metrics to the Baszel core service. Let's see if it works. Following this process for you to see also what mistakes you shouldn't do. So let's see here. Here you see we don't get anything. It's red, means it doesn't work. What's happened? Is it the name? The name, no. Let's check here the host, maybe. Copy host. And you can see the IP address here is the former IP address, which is the Windows IP address. But we need to use the IP address of the Linux instance running in the WSL. So here there's no way to update it. So we need to delete this metric, this agent collecting metric that we have created here, which is empty, is not going to work. We just stop it. And we're going to open here and do it again. But this time, we're going to be using the right IP address, which is the one of your WSL running instance. Okay? So it's possible that you get a new key. Let's say you get a new key. You're just going to come here. You get the key from here and you put it there. But here the key is going to be basically the same. I've updated the IP address. You're just going to copy the key, put it back here, and after you run your compose up, and now it should be running. Let's see in the core service side if it has been able to connect. Now add system, which is going to be making this connection, and now we got it. Okay, whatever runs in this Windows host subsystem, we got the metrics of it. Please like and subscribe during the break. So what is Baszel? Baszel is a lightweight server monitoring platform that includes Docker statistics, historical data and alert functions. So it's very simple to use, as you can see. Work on CPU, alerts, multi-users, all routes with different providers, REST APIs, backups. We can check those providers. So here it gives you a little tutorials in how to set this up. Just follow these tutorials. There's nice screenshots. And here you get all the supported providers. We got Discord also, part of those. GitLab, GitHub, and so on. We got even Twitter. After here you get some other installations with Podman, for example. Here suggesting you to use the user 1000. REST API, you get the code snippets. Basic example, and adding user to the system also. So here that's how you would programmatically log in and after start getting those metrics through your code. So you can have your own web interface for that. Okay. Docker and the binary. Here I'm using more the Docker side of it. But there is also a binary that you can use. Common issues, as you can see, agent is not connecting. We got that issue. You got some logs where you can check in Pocket Base. So the user managing side, that's where you're going to see the logs. And yeah, if it is red, you know that it doesn't work. You need to fix something about the IP address, for example, as we've seen. And here the Docker compose, if you want to use a Docker file, you can build it also directly instead of pulling the image from but me I prefer to just put the image directly in the Docker compose. Okay, so that's Baszel. Here we got the metrics depending on how much you have allocated to your instances. So here is not using much CPUs, but I give it some time for it to run, and we can see how it displays those That's the common metrics that you need to know about your servers. CPU, memory usage, I/O, and the disk usage. Don't read also for the network traffic. If you have public interfaces, here we can see the disk input-output, the throughput, okay, and the memory usage, precise utilization of the record time. And after here I get I'm using just 1 GB, 2 GB in total is the cache. And it's going to be updating, and you can see the underlying system. Here I'm just using a normal computer. You can see Radeon graphics, Ryzen. And after here for 12 hours I don't get any metrics because I've been just running it for the tutorial. And in the other side, that's the one that you have skipped at the beginning of the video, you can see the user interface. You get some code snippets to get your normal CRUD running, to view, create, update, delete, have the real-time data also, and the user authentication. After you can also set some alerts, container statistics, user settings. You can also check maybe the system. Let's check the system here. That's where you're gonna get your logs also. Okay, super user, authentication origin, external authentications, multi-factor authentication, and so on. And let's see the logs. Here, logs, and you can see the different failures that we've got because of the IP address connection refused. For sure refused because there were no agents running at that IP address. It was running in the WSL side. Baszel is lightweight and super easy to get running. Just need, after first setup, to have the agent running in the different servers you have. Pretty amazing. It will not replace Prometheus and Grafana or ELK, but it's good to have, as most of the time that is all you need. So here, one center place to see the most common metrics of a server. Tell me in the comment section if you are using it to set up custom metrics, for example. I'm interested in that. Share acknowledge, as the biggest chunk of viewers and subscribers are experienced people. Share acknowledge. This is the whole purpose. Hope that you like this video. See you next time.